Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. On this, if you're living in the south of England at the moment, in the south of the UK, you're probably enjoying the weather a bit more compared to other areas of the UK, because I know there's thunderstorms lurking about, and so, to some people I've just previously watched some streams and videos of, they've got lightning and thunder, and it's all kicking off where it is that they are in the UK slash Ireland. And thankfully, the weather here, we're blessed. We're blessed. The sun is somewhat out. There's not really that many clouds about, but obviously, knowing this country, that can absolutely change in a heartbeat. But anyways, we are back, and what we're going to be talking about today are a couple of concerns of mine about this takeover process that is dwindling into its month. Ninth month. Wow, I say it's dwindling to the ninth month. I think when we hit August, it will probably be about the ninth month. I'm pretty sure it is November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Yeah, we are on the basis that we're in July. It is the ninth month. Um, Obviously, when we get towards the end of the month, that's when it becomes the turn of that 9 month. Um, but before we get into some business, a couple of, well, one name that I do need to shout out here, who's doing me some massive favors, really being a MVP for this channel, is the host of the United Philosophy, Stefan. I owe him a very big shout out after he was shouting me out on his stream. I think it's more of a sort of like a bit of, well, you scratched my back, so I'll scratch your back. Do check out the United Philosophy below. They do streams every single day, uh, plus a few content bits and pieces, some uploaded recorded videos or some shorts here and there, as well as, considering they've got memberships available, though at one point soon, I reckon they'll be releasing members exclusive content as well. So do be sure to check out the United Philosophy YouTube channel. Really good stuff on there. Very professional approach, I would say, compared to my approach. I'm a bit more casually laid back and a bit less sort of, I'd say a bit of a less of a filter to it, but each to their own. It's unique. It's unique content in its own right, and it's very good content to say the least. So I will be leaving a link to his channel in a pinned comment below. So and also in the description as well. Fingers crossed that YouTube actually allows me to do that, because it didn't like me having links before, but God only knows what that's about. But anyways, yeah, do be sure to check out his channel and go and drop him a subscription if you haven't done so already. Anyways, now we've got that out of the way, we'll get into the nitty gritty. And a few concerns that I have with the takeover process is that the fact that we are entering the ninth month here, and we've got this most unusual extended period of silence, of radio silence. No one knows what's going on. We've had Sergeant Ratcliffe very recently come out and talk about, there's a process going on, and we respect that. We can't say too much on our side of things because of NDAs and all of that. And the same recycled nonsense stuff that we've been hearing from both parties whilst the process is going on. Um, Obviously, excluding all the hype men for the Qataris and the Sheikh Jassim parties, as much as I do very much prefer Sheikh Jassim to be taking over Manchester United, head and shoulders well above wanting Ratcliffe to take over. But, in fairness to both parties, the Glazer side of things has been very, I would say, disrespectful. Very disrespectful, considering how little communications both parties have had with the Rain Group that has been supposedly in charge of this takeover process. And I think just because there's radio silence, I think I'm surprised that not more outrage has been somewhat induced by either of these groups. And some people will want to say, "Oh, radio silence means that Sir Jim Ratcliffe's in bed with the Glazers. Oh, he's going to take over." The other side of things will say, "Oh, radio silence is the calm before the storm. That means the deal's done. Yeah, the deal's done." I think the harsh reality is there is no deal done. There is no deal done. No one's accepted anything. And I've noticed on Twitter a Twitter account known as the Swedish Rumble, who had put out some concerns of themselves, which has sort of been a bit of a thought-provoking Twitter post on this. So I'm just going to basically read out what they've said. The Swedish Rumble, at Swedish Rumble, you can follow them on Twitter. So basically what they've said, and let me know what you think about this as well. But finally, someone is taking notice of what we've been saying for weeks, if not months. It's very obvious that the Glazers aren't committed sellers at the current level of bids. It's time to wake up and smell the coffee. We do not have a delay due to things being complicated. The real delay comes after someone have won the auction. The clock hasn't even started to tick in that regard. And that is those two paragraphs there that does sort of sink, the reality sinks in a bit, because if the Glazers were happy with the bid, they would have chosen they would have chosen it. If they were happy with the bid, they would have chosen that bid and said, "Right, Rain Group, sort it out." And I know it. We can call the Glazers greedy for it. We can call the Glazers greedy for it, because supposedly neither of the bids even know, especially the Qatari bid, for what, for how much it is a record-breaking bid. It is a record-breaking bid, but it's still not what the Glazers want, because they haven't accepted it yet. And the radio silence is, they're doing some sort of fine detailing, or things behind the scenes that we don't know about, that we can't see what's going on. That it's concerning to me that neither Sheikh Jassim or Sir Jim Ratcliffe has done enough in the Glazers' eyes. Neither of them have done enough. And as it stands, if a minority investment group were to come in tomorrow and give exactly what the Glazers want in terms of pledge to financing what the Glazers want, like the amount that the Glazers want to go into the system, they will happily take that, but then everything else, they'd like keep complete control of the club. No Sir Jim Ratcliffe, no Sheikh Jassim, no additional parties, just the investment group comes in, and in happy days, they will take that in a heartbeat, compared to the other two bids for control of the club. And that's worrying from a United supporters perspective. It is worrying. There's now calls to increase pressure with protesting. They've stated here on the same Twitter post here that if there was ever a time to protest, to act to protect the legacy of this club, the time is now. And I would definitely question if we have the luxury to be picky because someone tells us that one of the bidders have super wealth and the others don't, which are assumptions based on pure speculations, that we have no idea what wealth 92 Foundation has and if it has backing from the Qatari investment fund. And INEOS books are not transparent. Ratcliffe could be on the brink of bankruptcy and we wouldn't know it. Exactly. And that's the problem, is Ratcliffe's bid is not transparent. You can't nitpick out the details. All we know about is percentages and all of these different structures changing and all of that, but you can't actually see what the actual, like, top to bottom diagnostics of that bid is. Like, you can't see the blueprint of it. There's nothing for you to digest there. It's literally just, oh, that's, we're not even basing it off of like official actions. or publications from actual connected groups. Like, we're just getting some business accounts and some journalists based in this country or based in the Middle East telling us, oh, this party's done this party's done that. What's to say that none of these reports are actually true or accurate? What I mean, what stops any of these from being fake, from being fabricated stories, or maybe the stories are true, but everything about the stories, the material, is exaggerated. What if it is exaggerated? We don't know, because that's the thing about NDAs, is there's such little information that most of the reports, it's like what I said with like the hallway conversations, most of the reports are probably fathomed from the hallway talk, where some people hear a murmuring coming from one discussion. They go, okay, so he's saying that. They hear another murmuring from another discussion. Oh, so he's saying that. And then it's like you keep hearing these different discussions from different directions, and you take all the information, piece it all together, and then there comes your report. That's probably the best. Like, you're feeding off of scraps. There's scraps in terms of how much actual information is coming from the process itself. It's such a lack. Like, we are so blind to this. We are so blind in this process from the fans' perspective, from the journalist's perspective. They're blind to it as well. Like, most of the people you see publishing information, it's like Rio Ferdinand saying, "Oh, well, we've got news coming soon." But that's the thing. Because it's a takeover process and the Glazers want to take the money and run. If that was ever the case, they wouldn't be talking about soon. They wouldn't be talking about soon. They'd be talking about now. They'd be saying, well, actually, what should be going on is, if the Glazers are happy with these bids, what they wouldn't be stalling. There wouldn't be concern. There wouldn't be second doubts. There wouldn't be the infighting between the Glazer siblings. Now, the infighting is not actually to accepting a bid. The infighting is to decide what they want to do with the club. Do we want to sell the club? 4 of the 6 siblings say yes. The other 2 say no. The 2 siblings, Joel and Avram, know they can't afford to buy out, as stated in other publications by the Swedish Rumble, that they can't afford to buy out the other 4 siblings. So it's like, well, it swings and roundabouts. We're just stuck on square one here, essentially. And what's crazy about this is, in terms of like deciding what the Glazers want to do with Manchester United, we are, or from the Glazers side of things, we are as close to a sale of this club as we were back in November. So from the Glazers side of things, and from the fans having to, I mean, the fans will probably have been riding along the hype with, oh, these next big bids go in, and then all the other party bids even more, then all the other party bids even more. The fans have been going on a journey, but from the Glazers' perspective, from the Glazers' end of the deal, they're in the same position, essentially, than they were in November. The same position. They still can't figure out what they want to do with the club. So they've had Rain Group essentially put bidders in place to be ready to buy. So they've moved closer to the deal, right? To be included in the conversation. But the Glazers, what? There's Sheikh Jassim and Sir Jim Ratcliffe just waiting outside the door there. Well, we're not talking to them yet. I mean, we've had discussions to lay out what kind of an interest you want, so that your deals are there, but we've not decided. We might never decide. We could be here for another 6 to 9 months and not decide. That's what's crazy. That's what's concerning me. Is that in reality, the hold-up is nothing to do with what's coming in from the Sheikh Jassim side or the Sergeant Ratcliffe side, I know there's been the talks of the legalities of Ratcliffe's bid, or the proof of finances coming in from the 9-2 Foundation. I mean, there's talks about the 9-2 Foundation here. Um, Here, some further down here. So there was talk yesterday about 9-2 having further issues to show proof of funds on one of the fan channels. Don't know the original source. The 9-2 is not QSI. Could it have financial support from it? Sure, but we don't know for sure. Is it possible the Qatari Islamic Bank, of which Sheikh Jassim is the chairman of, possible, but the entire bank is worth just 11.49 billion. So that answers the question as to perhaps why, what the Qataris are so rich, why don't they just stick like 10 billion on it and just be done with it? Well, supposedly here, by what's being said here, Qatari group are actually only able to work with a maximum of 11.49 billion. So to get a hold of the club, it's not limitless funds. It isn't limitless funds. It's not unlimited funds. So of course they're trying to be careful with it. Of course they're trying to, you know, just edging it up. They don't want to be stupid and overpay because it's limited money. They got like the bid itself. The bid itself is for the sake of buying out the Glazers, right? But then the pledged investment and all of that to follow in, like you're taking a lot of money out of the supposed 11.49 billion dollars, right? And this is dollars, not pounds. So yeah, he's basically finished this point off here. So I don't know which of the bidders are richest, but nobody else does either. But that's not the point. The focus should be to protest to get the Glazers out and support the bidders to get the Glazers out. And that's basically the only thing that we can do. That's the only place where we can, draw our attention or draw our focus and put our energy, is to make the Glazers as unwelcomed as humanely possible, to really push the agenda as far as humanely possible, and showing a support to potentially even both of these bidders to say, well, we want the Glazers completely gone. Sir Jim Ratcliffe, your bid doesn't support that, so you're not going to have as big a following as the other guy, as Sheikh Jassim, because Sheikh Jassim wants the whole club. He wants everyone out, everyone else out. He's buying everyone, literally buying out everyone. And that's what we want. We want the Glazers completely gone. We want the Glazers completely gone. But by the looks of it, we are no closer to actually getting any Glazers out, because the Glazers supposedly, by what it feels like, they're not happy. They're not happy with the money that's on the table. So they're just going to sit there and wait. And that's it. So we're saying, oh, the Glazers, they're trying to sort stuff out. Maybe they are. Or maybe they are just waiting. They're just waiting for an appropriate bid or someone to up their bid. Maybe that's what the talks have all been about with the PSG director. Oh, can you up your bid slightly? Can you tell your friend to up your bid? It's like, oh, we know how much money they've got. You can be generous with your bids, right? You can be generous with it. So it is Glazer greed. Make no mistake about it. The Glazers are absolutely greedy, vile, vermin pieces of shit. All of them. Oh, I mean specifically Joel and Avram. Absolute rats. Absolute rats. Absolute turds. The lot of them. I'm just going to have a quick read into what Mm. So I think someone here asked if you reckon the Glazers can end up staying, and he replied here that I think they will sail clear of any market manipulation. The press release said the same thing. Can they stay? I don't think that is how it would be done. Fairly certain they wouldn't take the club off the market, just stall the process. Four want to sell, or want to sell. Two, yeah, four siblings want to sell. Two siblings would like to keep control. The two can't afford to buy out the four. It takes £3.5 billion to buy out the Glazers at a £6 billion valuation. We are in the midst of a recession that seemed to pass fairly fast. Will a player like Sixth Street come in and pay the siblings £3.5 billion if the market turns upwards? That is what they could hold out for, and that's the reality of the situation. Um, I'm going to leave that there. But yeah, basically, just to wrap this whole thing up, this absolute painful, painful process um, that we're just having to bear witness to. Unfortunately, we're completely out of control. All your favourite journalists and business people like Reuters and Bloomberg are completely out of any control in this situation. We are just waiting and hoping that the Glazers decide to sell. But as is quite apparent, they've not solved that. They've not solved that dispute yet. They haven't solved that dispute since November, and because it's taken them 9 months to not draw any conclusions, how much longer will they continue to not draw conclusions? Well, I know we want to say, oh, but if we can get Qataris in after the transfer window, we can focus on getting all the big signings done in January. We might not have the club sold in January. We might not have the club sold in January. Let that one sink in, because as I said, the Glazers they haven't decided what they want to do. So we could be here until January, and I mean, Jesus Christ, would be the worst, and purchase or transaction of any category in any capacity would be the worst transaction in human history if we are sat here until next summer and the Glazers still haven't decided what they want to do. It would factually be. Maybe I'm wrong with that. Maybe someone who does pay attention to transactions would sit there and say, well, actually this transaction was worse. But I think factually we are looking at what could end up being one of the longest, one of the worst transactions in human history in terms of how efficient it was, or how clean the process was, how transparent the process was. I think Rain Group are literally just sitting there, just carry on, Joel Avram, rest of the Glazer siblings, carry on as you were. We'll just we'll just sit tight here and enjoy watching meltdowns happening left, right, and centre until either you or the bidders come and talk to us. To me, in the Rain Group, they're not provoking the Glazers' end of things. I know the minority shareholders on the public stakes, they're saying to Sir Jim Ratcliffe, well, look, if you accept that guy's bid, we're going to press charges on you. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I mean, sure, they'll try and work through it. If they've decided that, Sir Jim Ratcliffe's bid is what they want to go with, they will work through it. But that's to say that if they have actually decided by them, but they haven't. Based off of what I've read there and the conclusions, when you think about it, when you deep it, for how long this process has been going on for, we're essentially we are. I don't want to say that the whole process itself is not more conclusive than it was in November, but the Glazers' side of the process has not moved since November. It's been that bad. But anyway, let me know what you guys think and feel about this whole takeover situation. Leave all your thoughts and feelings in the comment section below. Sorry about this being such a long video, but I thought it was absolutely necessary for me to, raise my concerns and see just how many people out there are in the same boat as me, or whether there's people out there that have a completely different viewpoint. Um, maybe you're have a more negative outlook than me. Maybe your outlook is more positive than me. Maybe. But let me know with your thoughts and feelings in the comment section below. Do be sure to smash a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'm coming down with something going on with my throat as well, so I'm sure tomorrow is going to be a bit painful, but doesn't matter. I'll still be trying to put out content there for you. And also, just a quick heads up as well, just a reminder that Stefan's United Philosophy YouTube channel, I'll be dropping in the description below for you to go and check out his channel, where he posts Manchester United content as well. And I think he's also stated on his stream, so he's going to plan on trying to do coverage for some match watch-alongs, which will be really interesting to see how that goes. I will eventually want to plan to get into watch-alongs as well, which I need to sort out. As far as pre-season games go, I'm not sure about doing watch-alongs for those, but perhaps some match previews and some match reviews. I'll probably get into doing those for you guys, and then sort out something. I'll probably do Bing Sport, computer or website, internet-based subscription service that you can literally view pretty much every single football game in like the top 5, 6, 7 leagues. Even the non-televised games in the UK, you can actually view on Bing Sport, apparently, even if there's literally, even with DAZN, because I know DAZN's usually quite good. Sometimes they don't even televise games on there. Bing Sport should have you covered. But anyways, that's it from me today, and thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. I'm going to hop off and chill out and unwind for the rest of the Sunday evening, and not let this annoying process bear too much on me. And fingers crossed we'll sleep on it. Probably do a bit of gaming tonight. So I'm sorted for the rest of my Sunday. But you take care, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Ciao.